tonight we're going to continue on with colors. Colors are so fun. But you might have run into an opportunity or a time when you began a painting and you realized that you didn't have pink for the painting that you wanted to make. Well, we have some simple solutions, and we have some things that can help you learn how to mix colors correctly or in different ways to get new colors. So we don't need pink for what we're going to do tonight, but there are a couple of different ways with this chart, this spinning chart, and this pretty stationary chart that I created for my sip and paint parties to know new colors by adding two together. 2 plus 2 equals that. 2 plus 2 equals that. So I'm going to show you both ways, and I'm going to mix some colors. And here's just a little sample of what I had done previously. And then I'm also going to show you how to create tints, tones, and shades by using black and white with any hue, any hue in the color spectrum. So first of all, let's go ahead and start off with getting set up. I am going to use, okay, where did I put the brush? Oh, here it is. I'm going to use this flat brush just because I like the way it makes those little squares for me. It's really easy. And also, I'm going to use my palette brush or my palette mixer to mix the paint in on each of my palettes when I'm ready to mix paint. Okay? First of all, let's get to this color wheel. The color wheel is really simple to use. Well, I think it's pretty simple, but first of all, you need to know the basics. There's 3 colors in the primary color set that make all the colors on the planet. And those 3 colors are red, yellow, and blue. So we have yellow right here, and then we have red right here, and then we have blue right here. Okay? Yellow, red, and blue. These 2 colors make orange. If you go right in between the 2, you'll have an orange. Yellow and red make orange. If you go between the yellow and the blue, yellow and blue make green. And then you go between the blue and the red, blue and red make violet. So these are your secondary colors. These are really important colors to really know how to make if you don't have, say, per se, the orange in your set. If you just have red and yellow, you can make an orange. If you don't have any green, you can use yellow and blue to make a green, and so forth and so on. Okay? So let's go ahead and start off by showing you how to mix these colors to get a secondary color. First thing that I'm going to do is hydrate my brush. Always hydrate your brush. Acrylic paint. With acrylic paint, water is your friend. So you always need to make sure that you have a hydrated brush when you want the paint to spread evenly on your canvas. I am using canvas paper here. You can have actual canvases, they just cost more money. So I'm being economical and I'm buying canvas paper. And it does have a sort of a texture on it, just like canvas, so it really will hold the paint down pretty nicely on the surface. So I've hydrated my brush with a little bit of water. Okay, you want to blot it just a little. You don't want it to be too wet. Okay, and then I'm going to take my palette mixer. Okay, well, not right now. Let's go ahead and just put the 3 primary colors down. Yellow. Okay, yellow. You got a yellow here. That's a primary color. Mix. Clean your brush off. Blot out most of the water. Grab a little bit of red. And make a red blotch. Okay. Okay. Clean off your brush. And then grab some blue. And put that right there. Okay. Sometimes these colors are pretty transparent. So later on in the game, when we start talking more about these pigments, these paint colors, and how you make them more opaque, we'll show you what that looks like when we start to make them a little bit more opaque. Now, what I want to do with this couple of minutes of video time with you in this tutorial, I want to show you how to mix colors. So yellow and blue make orange. So I'm coming back to my palette of paint, and I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow and just move it over out of my batch of yellow. And that's kind of like a skin on top. By the way, these are water-based pigments. Water-based acrylic paint is water-based, And over time, if you have it sitting around not being used, it will develop a skin over the top. All you have to do is move the skin off. Here's the skin right here. And then you have fresh paint underneath it, okay? Just a little FYI real quick. So, okay, I'm going to move some of this yellow over in between the yellow and the red. Red is extremely strong. So take a little bit of red at a time to start turning this portion of yellow into orange. So I'm going to take a little bit. Oh, I got a skin on that one already. Okay, I'm going to move the skin out of the way. I'm going to grab some of this red and push it over here into the yellow. Okay. And you want to mix it up pretty good with your palette knife to get that orange that you need. Okay. Got a pretty decent orange right here. Pretty decent orange. Okay, and then clean that, put that brush, that palette knife in water so that you can clean it off for the next mix. So now this is my orange. Just rub your brush in that. And I'm going to put my orange pigment right here. It's kind of transparent, but you can see that it's orange. Okay, clean your brush off and your palette knife. Make sure you blot your brush. You don't want too much water in that, nor do you want to clean that off pretty good. Clean it off. Now let's go for the what does yellow and blue make? It's going to make violet, and we're going to put that right there. So I'm going to move some of this red over to the middle. And red and blue are both pretty strong colors, so 50-50 mix might be okay, where when you're making an orange, it's kind of like a 25-75 to make an orange. 25% of yellow and about, I'm sorry, 75% of yellow and about 25% of red to make the orange. But with these two colors, they're pretty strong and they kind of fight with each other. And it's real hard to get that nice violet that you need if you don't really be careful with your mixtures. So now I got this violet coming out of here. I'm going to add a little bit more red to brighten it some, just a tad. Yeah. It's almost looking kind of brownish. But anyway, we're just going to go with this. With your palette knife. See, it looks kind of purple. So let's go ahead and make sure you don't have a whole lot of water on here. Grab some purple on your brush and make, or violet, whatever you call it, purple or violet. So now I have a violet right there. Now I have 3 primaries. I'm just going to put a little P over the top of these. Primary, primary, primary. And this S is for secondary, secondary. Now, check this out. You still have 2 colors here. It's supposed to be 3 primaries and 3 secondaries. So you have these 2 colors right here that can also make a secondary. And what does yellow and blue make? That is correct. It makes green. So I'm going to rinse out my brush, clean off my palette knife, and we're going to make some green with yellow and blue. Blue is extremely strong, so you just want to take a little tab of it and put it over here with some of this yellow to make a green. Uh-oh, I took the skin. So you want to make a green here. All right, so we have all of our colors. Look at that nice green. It's a really nice green. It's kind of like a warm, mossy green. So you want to take that. And where do we want to put it? Let's just put it down here. So yellow and blue made the green. And this is also a secondary color. Yellow and blue. Okay? Now I hope you guys... Well, you know what? Let's do one more step. Let's go with the tint, tone, and shade of some of these colors. I got a few colors, and then I have my black and white, okay? So what a tint does, it's a brighter version of any of these colors. Also, when you use white in any of these colors, it makes it a lot more opaque. It brightens it too, but it makes it more opaque where you can't see through the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse off my brush and dry it off a little bit. I'm going to grab some white over here, all right? And I'm going to put it over here on this palette. And we're going to just go with, let's go with the orange and put a little white with the orange to make a lighter version of the orange. This is called a tint. This is a lighter area of orange that you might need in certain parts of your artwork, especially when you're making, it's almost kind of like a yellow, huh? But this is literally orange with some white mixed in it. I'm going to grab a little bit more orange, mix it in there. So there's orange with the white mixed in, and it's very opaque. You can't see through it. Clean off the brush. So sometimes when you're doing monochromatic painting, where you're using one color and you're using white, gray, and black to make different tones of the one color, is pretty cool. So why don't we go ahead and make a tone of this orange by adding some black to the orange. So what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of the black and put it over here on this palette, and then take some of this orange and mix with it to make a darker tone of the orange, which it kind of looks kind of ooky, but this is the rule of mixing paint. So now we have a tone of the orange. It's a little bit darker. It almost looks like a green, but it's a tone. It's like the shady part of anything that you might paint. You need to use a tone. I'm sorry, a shade. I'm using the wrong terminology. It's late, y'all. So this is the shade, this is the tint, this is the shade. When you make a tone, you have to have a mixture of both black and white. A little bit of black and a little bit of white. You make a gray. Let's go ahead and make some gray on this palette over here. Get off, get off. Make some gray. It needs to be a gray, kind of like a middle gray. Not too dark. Okay, not too dark. Make a middle gray tone. See that? Look how nice that is. All right. And now we have to put some orange with that. I need to make some more orange real quick. Some orange right here. A little bit of orange. A little bit of orange. Remember, red is very strong, so you don't need a whole lot. So we're making a little bit of orange right here. Then I'm going to put this orange in with a little bit of this gray to make a tone. Okay, it's going to be weird, I know. But this is my tone of orange. Okay, and I'm going to take my brush, grab a little bit of my tone paint. I'm just going to paint it right down here. And this is a tone. This is kind of like in the middle of these two. And I know it probably doesn't look like it, but that's what it is. Go ahead and put a little bit more of this on here. Okay. So you have a tint, a tone, and a shade. This generally goes on the darkest side of whatever it is you're painting, the shady side. This is the mid-tone, and that's the brightest side of whatever it is you're going to paint. So you usually have 3 different values or 3 different tones of one hue when you're doing a monochromatic painting. I'm going to write that down. Monochromatic painting. So you're going to have one hue. You're going to have white, black, and gray mixed with that. Okay? Well, I hope this helps you with some understanding of how to mix paints and how to create different tones with a single hue. You can create tones, tints, and shades with the rest of them, but we just did the orange for tonight. Okay, gang, I just want to recap on the color wheel. I don't think I gave you guys enough time and enough conversation about this color wheel. I'm going to turn this over. We just worked on that. So the color wheel, it's really important to kind of know exactly what it can do. It can do a lot of things. previously I showed you that if you go in between two different colors, you can get the secondary color. Primary, primary, secondary. But you can also find those things right within each spectrum of the color. So here, if we go ahead and find our red and we want to put it with the yellow, guess what? We're going to get an orange. Okay? If we keep the yellow here and we want to add maybe a blue to it on our wheel, you turn it and you're going to get your green. Okay? Say for instance we have some red. And we want to have a purple, but we only have red, so we need to figure out on this color wheel what is going to happen when we start moving it around. We can see in this little window right here that we can get a purple, so that tells us that the blue with the red is going to bring us a purple. Okay, so if you have a green in your kit, if you have some green paint and you want maybe I don't know, a turquoise or something like that. So what you do is you turn this wheel and you keep looking in the window to see what happens when you put a certain color with it. You put blue with the green, you're going to get this blue-green color. You put yellow with the green, you're going to have like a lime green. You put red with the green, you're going to have like this kind of brownie kind of looking color. If you put, well, these are the primaries. So you have only 3 primaries to put with anything on here. That'll give you a whole different color, okay? Now, the other thing that you want to consider with the color wheel is that it will also show you your tint, your shade, and your tone. So with the green, if you add white, you have like this real pastel green. Here's the white on the spinner, okay, with the green. If you put white with, say, yellow, let's go to yellow, and you put the white with the yellow, you're going to get this real pastel yellow. If you put the white with red, and there you go. There's that pink we talked about with the first video. So you're going to have pink if you add white to red. Now let's go with the black. Here's black on the color wheel. If you add black, you get a shade of any hue that you pick on the outside of your color wheel. And a shade is good for when you're in painting and you have a shaded or shadowed area, a darker side to anything. You have to add black to create a shade of your hue. Let's put the black with the yellow and see what we get. Almost like a green. It's almost like a green. Let's put the black with the green and see what we get. We have just a darker green. Let's go ahead and put the white with the green and see. These two colors right here, darker green, lighter green. These are really, really useful in monochromatic painting. You want to really understand what white and black can do with any of the colors around here in monochromatic painting. And I will do a tutorial on a monochromatic painting so that you can see how white and black can create a whole painting without even using any other hues on the color wheel. So I hope that was helpful. We will continue with more helpful hints to help you paint better. Take care.